Spring has officially sprung, and what better way to welcome the season than with a fresh entryway makeover? In today's video, we're giving your home's first impression a stunning transformation with a modern farmhouse aesthetic kissed by charming vintage details. From floral arrangements to antique accents, this entryway is getting a dreamy seasonal refresh. Your entryway sets the tone for your entire home. It's the first space guests see and the one you walk through daily. So why not make it a cheerful spring haven? By blending clean farmhouse lines with time-worn vintage touches, we create a space that feels both inviting and uniquely you. We're aiming for that sweet spot between modern farmhouse and vintage elegance. Think shiplap backdrops, soft neutral palettes, and lots of natural textures. Then add in vintage mirrors, distressed wood elements, and antique finds. This fusion gives personality and warmth without feeling overly rustic or too minimalist. We begin by clearing out the space. A fresh start helps us visualize better and gives us freedom to rethink layout and function. With the area cleaned and decluttered, we assess lighting, wall space, and flow, making note of where vintage pieces can shine and where farmhouse staples will anchor the design. coat of soft white or creamy greige on the walls instantly lightens and brightens. Opting for a matte finish adds a soft glow, perfect for highlighting both clean modern lines and vintage details. Paint sets the foundation for the serene yet textured look we're going for. A vintage console table is the anchor of this makeover. Whether it's a distressed wood piece with ornate legs or a clean-lined antique painted in a soft sage, it offers style and storage. It's the ideal spot to showcase spring florals, candles, and farmhouse baskets. A vintage mirror not only reflects light but also adds instant character. Look for arched or scalloped designs, gold leaf frames, or aged patinas. Placing it above the console creates a sense of height and elegance, perfect for balancing the entryway layout. Lighting makes a world of difference. Swap out a basic ceiling light for a charming farmhouse pendant or antique-inspired lantern. For added ambience, add a small vintage lamp on your console. Soft lighting warms the space and creates a cozy, welcoming vibe. Nothing says spring like a blooming wreath on your front door. Choose one with realistic faux florals. Think blush peonies, wildflowers, or eucalyptus. A vintage ribbon or lace tie adds that old-world charm while giving your guests a cheerful welcome. A woven jute runner or floral vintage-style rug grounds the space and adds texture. Look for faded patterns or soft pastels to keep things cohesive. Not only do they warm up the floor, but they also guide the eye through the entryway.
Add charming woven baskets beneath the console table for hidden storage.
These are great for shoes, scarves, or mail. Bonus: baskets add a rustic farmhouse layer while keeping clutter in check. Choose seagrass or wicker to stay within the natural, earthy palette. Keep the tabletop decor minimal yet meaningful. Think ceramic vases with fresh tulips, vintage books stacked with a candle on top, and maybe a small framed art piece. Each object should tell a story, whether it's new or a cherished antique store find. breathes life into any space. Add small potted plants, eucalyptus stems, or a trailing ivy in a vintage pot. These organic touches soften the farmhouse lines and play beautifully against rustic textures and soft pastels. Replace standard hooks with vintage or wrought iron wall hooks. These are perfect for hanging spring hats, lightweight scarves, or even a hanging basket of dried flowers. They double as decor and practical storage, especially in smaller entryways. Add personality through framed family photos in vintage frames, a handwritten welcome sign, or a seasonal quote on a rustic wooden board. These small touches make the space feel like home and create a warm, personal atmosphere for everyone who enters. A subtle, fresh scent can completely elevate your entryway experience. Choose spring-inspired candles, lavender, citrus, or linen, and place them in vintage holders. Or, use a ceramic wax warmer to safely diffuse fragrance without open flames. If space allows, include a farmhouse-style bench with a few cozy throw pillows. Opt for soft florals or vintage ticking stripes. It gives guests a place to sit while removing shoes and adds another layer of comfort and charm. Look for small vintage treasures at flea markets or thrift stores. An old milk jug turned vase, a weathered picture frame, or a decorative bird cage. These pieces carry a history that adds soul to your modern farmhouse look. Mixing textures keeps the space from feeling flat. Combine smooth ceramics, rough wood grains, soft linen, and natural greenery. Layering these elements makes the entryway feel styled but lived in, elevated yet relaxed, just like a spring breeze. Stick to a soft, spring-friendly palette of whites, beiges, blush, and sage green with touches of dusty blue. These colors work beautifully in both farmhouse and vintage settings, creating a harmonious backdrop that feels fresh and inviting. Spring is the perfect time to add a whimsical touch. Try a ceramic bunny figurine, a vintage bird print, or a little nest tucked into a cloche. These sweet details bring a sense of playfulness that feels right at home in the season. One of the joys of styling an entryway is how easily it can evolve. Incorporate seasonal touches like floral stems that can be swapped for greenery in summer or dried leaves come fall. This allows you to keep the core pieces while making subtle seasonal changes. You don't need a huge budget to achieve this look. Repurpose items from other rooms, DIY your own antique-inspired signs, or thrift for vintage frames and vessels. Mixing high and low keeps things accessible while still delivering a high-end feel.
Let's take one last walkthrough to admire our transformation.
From the fresh paint and lighting to the styled console and charming details, every element now sings with springtime elegance. The mix of modern farmhouse lines and vintage flair creates a balanced, welcoming entryway full of personality. Your entryway is more than just a passage. It's a reflection of your home and your style. By blending modern farmhouse staples with vintage charm, you've created a space that welcomes spring with open arms. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more seasonal decor makeovers. Until next time, happy decorating and happy spring!